Hola a todos! Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Find Fluency, and today we are on mini lesson 3. So it's the third lesson in our little mini lesson series, which I'm delivering to you absolutely free every week. I hope that you've all been doing un poco de repaso, a little bit of revision of numbers to 31 from last week's lesson, because today we are working on los meses, los días, y las fechas. So having a look at months, days, and dates, putting them together for dates today. This will be familiar to some of you, right? So some of you will know months and dates and days of the week already. However, we do have quite a lot of absolute beginner learners in the group, and these are from fundamental things that we need to be able to say and understand for many, many different situations in life. It's good revision for everyone that already knows it. You might pick something else up in the lesson. And if nothing else, if you know all the answers to everything, it just makes you feel a little bit good and a little bit more confident about your own learning and where you are, right? So, empezamos. En esta lección vamos a aprender. So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at cómo decir los días de la semana y los meses en español. So how to say days of the week and months in Spanish. Y los cumpleaños y las fechas, right? So birthdays and dates in Spanish. So putting together the elements of numbers to 31, days of the week and months, to be able to do birthdays and dates is the main aim today. Lo que necesitas, como siempre, what you need for the lesson, un boli y papel para escribir, okay? So a pen, a pencil, un lápiz, and some paper if you've got it handy. That's all you need this week. Okay, so empezamos con los días de la semana, days of the week. Repetimos, so you could repeat these in Spanish after me. Okay, first one. Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. So that's us brought them up in Spanish. I'm going to now bring them up in English, but I'm just going to see them again in Spanish, and again you could repeat, okay? Puedes repetir en español. So, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo, right? So those are our days of the week. You may notice something, a difference already between how we do it in English and how we do it in Spanish. So in English, you'll see that we have capital letters at the start there, but in Spanish, you'll see there are no capital letters for days of the week. Okay, so no capitals at all there. Go through them once more, just for pronunciation's sake. So lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Okay? Los meses, so months now. Let's have a little look at these. So repetimos, repeating, again, getting used to speaking Spanish, feeling a bit more comfortable with how things sound and how they look, and just starting to make links now between what the words look like and what they sound like. Okay, so after me, después de mí, enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto. Okay, so just a couple of little things to point out again. You'll notice again small letters at the beginning of the word, right? So days of the week, months of the year, small letters at the beginning in Spanish, right? And also take note of my h sound with the junio and the julio, right? So you need to really try and get that right. It really doesn't sound good, right, when we have an English speaker saying junio or julio, or, as I've heard quite a lot, because it's quite a popular place to go, I'm going to Nerja on my holidays. You're not. You're going to Nerja, okay? And you might be going in junio or julio, right? So be very careful of that. Right, I'm going to bring these ones up in English first before we move on to the rest. But again, I'm just going to say them again in Spanish, and you could repeat them for practice, okay? So, enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto. Okay? And remember our ch sounds there. Right, lo que queda, what's left? Septiembre, octubre, noviembre, y diciembre. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat them again in Spanish when I bring the English up. And again, you could say them again in Spanish. So, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Vale? Well done. So that's the first little phase of our lesson done there. So we've done our days of the week, we've done our months of the year, right? And you'll notice when you see that those months of the year, they don't look a million miles away from the English, right? So when you're reading them, it's not that difficult. You can kind of tell there, you know, which month's which. But as usual, it's when you hear things, and you come across it in everyday conversation, that's sometimes when we come up against problems, isn't it? When it's going really quick, and you've maybe got the number, and then it comes to the month, and you're like, oh, I've forgotten the number, or I don't know what month that was, it's gone too quickly. So that's kind of what we need to improve, isn't it? So just a little bit of a revision, and let's see a little bit of quiz here, just a few little questions, and see if you can tell me or write down in Spanish, ¿cuándo pasa? When does this happen, right? So when does this event happen? In which month? We haven't done numbers and dates and put it together yet, so we just need the month in Spanish when this happens. Okay, so ¿cuándo pasa? Our first one is Navidad, Christmas. Which month is that in? Okay, so if you can say it in Spanish or write it down, great, write it down. Number 2, San Valentín or Valentine's Day. When does that happen? ¿Cuándo pasa? When does that happen? Which month? Don't worry too much about the specific date just yet, we're getting there. Number 3, Noche Buena or Christmas Eve. ¿Cuándo pasa? When does it happen? Which month? Say it or write it down. Number 4, El Año Nuevo, New Year's Day. Which month does it happen in? In Spanish, write it down or say it. And then number 5, Halloween, or as you may hear it referred to, La Noche de Bruja, which means the witch's night. Okay, Halloween. ¿Cuándo pasa? When does it happen? Write it down or say it out in Spanish. Muy bien, well done. Let's see if we've got the answers, if we've got them all correct. So las soluciones. First one was Navidad y pasa en diciembre. Okay, so it happens in December. 2, San Valentín, St. Valentine's Day. Febrero, okay, happens in febrero. 3, which was Noche Buena y pasa en diciembre. Right, so that was our Christmas Eve. It happens in December. 4, pasa en enero. Es el año nuevo. Okay, so New Year happens in January. Y 5, Halloween or Noche de Bruja, pasa en octubre. How did we get on? Did we get them all right? Are we feeling all right about the months? I hope so. Right, well done. Moving on. Let's put it all together now. Para hacer las fechas, to be able to do dates. Let's put them all together. So, ¿cuál es la fecha? What is the date? Okay, ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy? What's the date today? Today. Hoy is today. So, hoy es martes 25 de septiembre. Or, hoy es el 25 de septiembre. So you can see there that if we use the day, okay, so I put in martes for Tuesday, then we don't use the article. The article is the word el here, right? So if we put in the day, we don't use the article, right? So martes 25 de septiembre, or if we're not using the day of the week and we're just giving the number in the month, hoy es el 25 de septiembre. I would not, at your stage, get too hung up about these tiny little finite details, okay? If you've got martes 25 en septiembre, or you've been able to understand Marte es 25 de septiembre, you're winning at this stage, right? It's great. Don't worry too much. Am I putting an L there? Am I not putting an L there? Let's not get too worried about that, okay? So the numbers, just a little point here, numbers are always cardinal numbers. So you're always going to see 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't necessarily really say first, second, third, fourth, the way that we do. You may, on the first, hear primero. Okay, so instead of saying uno, you may hear primero. But throughout mainland Spain, it's usually el uno de, right? The first of, but you may hear primero. Just to be aware of that. Okay, cumpleaños, los cumpleaños. Oh, little present there for us. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Right? Can we guess what I'm asking? Right? Cumpleaños, birthdays. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? Right? ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Repetimos, let's repeat it. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When's your birthday? So, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Chosen a couple of quite well-known ladies, just to give us a couple of examples, okay? So, our Queen, la Reina, right? So, del Reino Unido, of the UK or Great Britain. Mi cumpleaños es el 21 de abril. Mi cumpleaños es el 21 de abril. Okay? My birthday is the 21st of April. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? When is your birthday? And now we have la Reina de España. Okay, Leticia, I think she's called. Mi cumpleaños es el 15 de septiembre. Mi cumpleaños es el 15 de septiembre. Okay? So, let's see if you guys can put all that together and write down the birthdays that I'm saying in English. So I'm going to say them in Spanish, and I want you to write down what it is that I'm saying in English. So are you able to understand really what I'm saying in Spanish? Okay? And I do realise I'm not a Spanish native speaker. And I may be, slightly tailoring what I'm saying for my audience. So, I'm probably speaking a little bit more slowly and more clearly than a native speaker would be. But it's baby steps, and this is how we start, and you build up to being able to really engage with and listen to and understand native speakers at their pace. But we have to start where you are and build up towards that point, okay? So we've got 5 of these to do. And are you able to write down the dates that I'm giving in Spanish? Can you write them down in English, okay? So, number 1, número 1. Mi cumpleaños es el 7 de mayo. Mi cumpleaños es el 7 de mayo. Número 2. Second one. Mi cumpleaños es el 29 de noviembre. Sorry, I've made a mistake there. I've got these written down. Let's try that again. Number 2 is mi cumpleaños es el 19 de noviembre. Can't read my own writing. Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de noviembre. Okay, so third and final time for number 2, just because I made a mistake there. Mi cumpleaños es el 19 de noviembre. Número 3, number 3 coming up. Mi cumpleaños es el 29 de marzo. Mi cumpleaños es el 29 de marzo. Writing it down in English, or even saying it, just translate it if you like, that's fine. Number 4, 4. Mi cumpleaños es el 10 de julio. Here's one of those ones. Mi cumpleaños es el 10 de julio. And 5, number 5. Mi cumpleaños es el 1 de agosto. Or you may hear, mi cumpleaños es el 1 de agosto. And that was number 5. Okay? Right, let's see if we've got them right. Vamos a ver. Las soluciones. Answers. So our first one was el 7 de mayo, 7th of May. Second one was the 19th of November, 19, sorry, the first time I think I said 29th, can't read the 1 and the 2. So the 19th of November is the correct answer there. Number 3, we have the 29th, el 29 de marzo. Number 4, we have el 10 de julio with the L, so 10th of July. And number 5, el 1 de agosto, or el 1 de agosto, the 1st of August. How did we get on? Did we manage them? Well done. What I always say to learners here as well is if you're struggling with one part of it, you could maybe try and get the number and not the month, or the month and not the number, and try and fill in gaps the second or third time that you hear it. Okay? Well done. That's us done our lesson today on dates. So, hoy hemos aprendido what we've learned today. Los días de la semana, days of the week. Los meses del año, months of the year. Las fechas y los cumpleaños. So we've put them together to do dates and birthdays, right? Absolutely fantastic, guys. Well done. And see if you're sticking with it, good on you, because it's really easy to do the first lesson, the second lesson, and then lose motivation and not bother, right? So you really have to put the time in. I'd love to be able to say, you know, you get all these people online saying, I've got a languages hack, I can get you fluent in a week, or I can get you fluent in 3 weeks. And to be honest with you, even if you're completely surrounded by the language constantly, that's really, really a tough gig, right? You have to put in the work. You have to just keep showing up, do a little bit, little and often is really, really good, right? So well done if you've stuck with that and you've got to our third mini lesson. It's pretty good going, right? And also, don't forget, I would love to see you this evening. So doing my first live lesson, decided I'm going to have a little look at some of the mistakes that you guys are making when you're commenting on my Palabra del Dia, or we're having little chats online. So really drilling into common mistakes, the same things that are coming up again and again. So we'll do that for the first 5 minutes or so. And then I think I'm going to have a little look at the verbs estar and ser, and just the different situations in which these verbs are used, because again, it's something that a lot of you don't seem to be too confident with, right? It's tricky, and I'm going to keep it quite simple. We're not going to get too technical at this stage, but I'm going to give you some pretty straightforward rules that you can follow so that you know when to use which of those verbs. Okay, muchas gracias. Thanks very much, guys. And I will be seeing you later, hopefully.